Are you listening?
Game of the Year! What's your Game of the Year? You haven't picked your Game of the Year yet? My Game of the Year? You haven't played Animal Crossing yet?
Doom Eternal is so great!
What's your Game of the Year? Have you played this game yet? Oh my god, you haven't picked your Game of the Year yet? Psst. What's your Game of the Year? Welcome to the Nerf Report. My name is Bryant. You can probably tell by now, but today we're talking about Games of the Year! With the year coming to an end, typically this is the time of year when news outlets, gaming journalists, and whatever the hell Kotaku is, announce their official Game of the Year. But for this year, I wanted to do something a little different. Instead of nominating just one game, I wanted to put together a list of my favorite games, along with a few games that you may have missed. First up, let's talk about Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now, if you haven't played this game yet, I highly recommend you check this out. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a platformer that takes you on an emotional journey filled with stunning graphics, excellent boss battles, and challenging puzzles. Now, personally, I played Ori on the Xbox One. However, since the game initially released on Xbox, it is now available on the Nintendo Switch as well, so please check this game out. And next up, we have a game that I absolutely loved. If you've ever dreamed of being the star of your own action movie, then Doom Eternal is definitely the game for you. Doom Eternal puts you in the role of the iconic Doom Slayer as you rip and tear your way through hordes of demons to save planet Earth. From start to finish, this game is an epic, non-stop action thriller that is a must-play for any fan of first-person shooters. And if anything, you should check this game out just for the glory kills alone. I mean, if the game was just that, like a non-stop 60-minute video of just chopping heads off and ripping out demons' stomachs, I would buy this game in a heartbeat. Now, another game that belongs on this list is Final Fantasy VII The Remake, which I will go on record and say that I was old enough to play the original Final Fantasy VII game, and seeing this game not just get an HD remake, but a complete overhaul was absolutely awesome. And I get that some gaming purists out there say that the game skewed too far away from the original game, but at the end of the day, I absolutely loved it. The new hack and slash mechanics felt really good, and despite playing the original game, playing the remake felt like a completely different game. Final Fantasy VII The Remake was a great adventure, and I definitely recommend that you check this out. Next up, let's talk about Orcs Must Die 3, which I think might be the sleeper game of the year for me, because a lot of people have yet to play this game, but it's absolutely fantastic. Essentially, your job is to defend the portal from an onslaught of orcs, and you can do so by the basic hack and slash gameplay, or you can set up traps that will kill your enemies on impact. And as simple as that sounds, I loved playing this game so much. Alright, the next game on my list is probably going to be a little controversial, but it's The Last of Us Part 2. Now, I fully understand that this game wasn't for everybody, and trust me, I agree, the story definitely made some choices, but at the end of the game, there was just so much that I loved about it. Like, the overall size, it's still extremely impressive. Unlike its predecessor, The Last of Us Part 2 removed gameplay from the rails and oftentimes even encouraged you to explore the area to find side quests and other unlockable bonuses. And on top of that, The Last of Us Part 2's story was just so raw, uncomfortable, emotional, and fantastic. I mean, it was everything that I wanted from the next chapter of this game. You know, I genuinely found myself getting so taken away with this game and lost in the story, so I think this game definitely deserves the praise that it's getting, and it definitely deserves a spot on this list. Now, if you've been paying close attention to this channel, this list would be incomplete without this next game. So let's talk about Krata, which is probably the game that I have spent the most time playing in 2020, and admittedly, that has a lot to do with the fact that I've made 3 video games in 2020, but outside of the game creation, you know, I genuinely love Krata. If you're unaware, Krata is a game creation platform that allows players to build and create whatever video game they want. The game allows you to either develop your game from the ground up, or you can take one of Krata's base coding formats like gun game or time trials, and you can build your game from there. And if you're listening to that and thinking, man, that's a game that I want to play, well, definitely hop in And while you're in there, check out Trench Warfare, The Floor is Lava, and my brand new game, Free Climb. And when thinking back on 2020, I genuinely don't know how we have a list of my favorite games without talking about this next one. And that's Fall Guys from Mediatonic. I mean, this game easily makes the list as one of my favorite games from 2020, as it offered hours of replayability and fun while playing with friends. Now, granted, I have yet to win a single crown yet, please don't judge me, but that didn't stop me from coming back each time to play more and more. And in my opinion, Fall Guys offers some of the best designed courses and challenges that I've played this year. And on top of that, the developer continues development of the game by adding seasonal content with new maps, new obstacles, new cosmetics, and so much more. And obviously, there were a ton of games that launched this year, and I have so many left to play on my backlog, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Immortals Phoenix Rising, but what were your favorite games from this year? You know, you've heard mine, I went through why I loved them. Were any of the games on my list your favorite games as well, or did I miss something completely? Let me know in the comment section down below. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, which who wouldn't, hit the subscribe button right there. And while you're down there, hit the like button. Maybe even consider becoming a Nerf Report best friend, just like the people listed down below did. In fact, don't you want to see your name there? I know I do.